Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
This episode is going to be brought to you by Manscaped. That's right, Manscaped is back with us, and
because they're back in the saddle again.
they want to wish you a Happy New Year.
Because they're back.
The ball has dropped, but that doesn't mean you have to drop the ball on your balls in 2023.
Don't you do that.
Whether you had a New Year's kiss or not, the leaders in Below the Waist Grooming have you covered for your much-needed resolution of bringing sexy back.
Ooh.
I'm bringing sexy back.
Yeah.
Join the 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. You can go to manscaped.com and use the code TRUECRIME for 20% off plus free shipping. Let us have a toast for a new year, new you, and a new you with no pubes.
Ooh-wee. It's a new year, new balls with the global leaders and Below the Waist Grooming. This year, take your package to the next level with the Performance Package 4.0
4.0.
and other premium wet goods. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. The advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate pots.
That's your balls.
That's your balls. It also comes equipped with a 4,000K LED spotlight. Dang.
We lighten your area.
All right. That will shine a light to the promised land that 2023 looks to be.
That's right. A grooming routine isn't complete without applying Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver before showing off your 2023 self.
Ooh.
These unique formulations take care of the smelliest part of your body, your balls and your asshole,
Right.
and are a big boost to your confidence in the new year.
We can't do anything about your breath, but
Right. To complete this, well, you could put it in there, see what it does. Right. To complete the set, Manscaped threw in their Shed travel bag and anti-chafing boxer briefs as free gifts to keep all your goodies stored comfortably.
anti-chafing. Everybody loves that, right?
If you really want to make 2023 the year to remember, make sure you try out Manscaped's wet goods as well. This includes their ultra premium body wash, 2-in-1 shampoo, and body deodorant. These products are the absolute perfect follow-up after your New Year's gym sessions. Cheers to new balls in 2023.
Oh, that's so nice. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code TRUECRIME at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code TRUECRIME. Time to feel sexy and free this 2023 with the Manscaped.
With the Manscaped. Welcome to Outlaws and Gunslingers. Welcome back to Outlaws and Gunslingers with your host, Bang and Dang.
This is Outlaws and Gunslingers double feature.
We got a double feature, an unprecedented episode that we've never done here before. A double kid murder feature.
Right.
After last week's crazy case of the murdering of the 8 nurses in the nursing school, and the dude subsequently becoming wacky, Richard Speck, in the prison, and growing boobs and all that good stuff. If you wonder what we're talking about, you're thinking to yourself, what? Go look at that case from last week.
He turned into a freaking Zeke.
Yeah, he turned into a freaky guy over there in prison, and then now got a couple shorter stories, but both involve child abduction and presumably murder.
Right.
With at least one of them. We know that. And, we're going to start out with Peter Weinberger.
Peter Weinberger.
Who was born in 1956. And then we'll also have another one on Marion Parker. And she gets abducted, and she was 12 years old. So.
I wonder if her twin sister felt that.
Might.
Everything that was happening.
Ooh,
That's a thing.
I don't know. Well, as you can tell, we've already recorded that episode, but this episode's going to be the first one that you're hearing. But, some mess up stuff happens to Marion Parker. Let's see if it happens to Peter Weinberger here. This guy,
was rough.
This guy's only a month old, so...
Oh, man, so yeah.
We're going to see he was abducted, kidnapped for ransom on July 4th of 1956 in New York State. Peter Weinberger was killed by a fellow named Angelo LaMarca, which is an Italian name. Was he in the mafia?
We don't know.
We don't know. We'll see. He was born in New York on April 13th, 1925. On July 31st, 1943, he was drafted to serve in World War II. His enlistment papers state that he had dependents at that time, but was single, and he worked in the manufacturing of paper goods at Dunder Mifflin. And that was the most advanced education level he attained. The most advanced he had obtained was grammar school. Angelo LaMarca married Donna LaMarca on June 6, 1946. They had 2 children, a boy named Vincent and a girl named Vivian. And, yeah, so it's a family man here. What's he doing abducting 1-month-olds?
Right. Come on, man. This guy's 1954. LaMarca was arrested for his participation in a bootlegging operation that also involved his father, Vincenzo, and his younger brother, Joseph, as well as 2 other men who are not related to LaMarca, and others. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The group set up an illegal still capable of producing 500 gallons of bootleg whiskey. Following their arrests, all 5 were charged with operating a still and processing mash. Oh, you can't have reruns of mash. It's illegal. 1954 was it?
Nope.
The latter of which was a federal offense. You can't have mash.
You can't have mash, man.
What the hell is mash?
It's the shit that you make liquor with. It could be whatever. Corn, grain, yeah.
Man.
They form it into mash.
Malted barley.
Yep, they produce wort.
Yeah.
And that's the liquid extracted from the mash.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. LaMarca received a 90-day suspended sentence along with a year of probation.
That's it. Good for him.
Documents filed in relation to LaMarca's probationary period would play a significant role in his capture for the Weinberger kidnapping.
Oh, he was already on record, so they already was looking at him or something, maybe, right?
Right.
Peter Weinberger, the little baby, was born June 2nd, 1956. July 4th, when he was 32 days old, his mother, Betty Weinberger, placed him in a carriage covered with mosquito netting on the patio of their house in Westbury, New York.
Any mosquito problems, bud?
Which is a town in Nassau County, and left him unattended for approximately 10 minutes. He's a month old.
Well, she's at her house.
He's a month old.
Hey, so
outside by himself?
In a freaking carriage.
Okay, so?
He can't go anywhere.
She returned to find someone had pulled open the netting, taken Peter, and left a ransom note on a notebook paper in green ink. The note read in part, "Attention, I'm sorry this had to happen, but I'm in bad need of money. Couldn't get it any other way. Don't tell anyone or go to the police about this, because I am watching you closely. I am scared stiff, and I will kill the baby at your first wrong move. Just put $2,000 in small bills in a brown envelope. If everything goes smooth, I will bring the baby back, leave him on the same corner. Safe happy at exactly 12 noon. No excuses. I can't wait." What? This dude's excited. Your babysitter.
Your babysitter.
Oh, geez. Ransom note found after the kidnapping of Peter Weinberger, July 4th, 1956.
So she put him on the patio.
And then he took him. Was he just walking by? I was like, damn, this is my chance, I guess.
I wonder
right?
if you think she's involved?
Well, I don't know. Guess we'll see, won't we?
The note demanded that the Weinbergers leave the money next to a signpost near their house by 10 a.m. the next morning. Betty Weinberger's husband, Morris, a wholesale pharmacist, soon returned from a car ride with their older son, 2-year-old Louis, at which point the two called Nassau police. Shortly afterwards, they shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Guy said, "No police, man. Don't they ever listen?" Detective Frank Abramowitz arrived at the house. He informed his boss, Sergeant Edward Curran, of the kidnapping, at which point Abramowitz, Curran, and Weinberger's, hell of a freaking names there,
Right.
agreed to
The
pay
law office, dude.
right, agreed to pay the ransom as quickly as possible to ensure Peter's safe recovery. The Weinbergers were of the modest income and required financial aid of several relatives. The Weinbergers were...
Why is it the people that their kids and shit getting stolen that always have to come up for the money? Why wouldn't the state do it?
Right. Well,
Hey,
you decided how to
you have to pay it back, but still, we can get it for you now.
Right, and you got to go on a loan payment, and then
And then they take your kid. You don't pay it back.
Collateral.
Repossess it.
Right. Or the kid will get treated like shit all the time. You're the reason why we're in debt.
That's true, too, yeah.
The Weinbergers were of the... Screw that.
Worse than a redheaded stepchild. They're a redheaded ransom child.
Right. You're a ransom child. What was your childhood? I was a ransom child.
Oh. Everybody's like, oh.
He's like, you know what? I'm not hungry after all. Matter of fact, I got to go. The Weinbergers,
Please don't call me again.
Right. The Weinbergers were of a modest, and you know what? I'm married. Shit. Duh.
How did I forget about that? Jeez.
The Weinbergers.
That took a turn because I was thinking about two guys, just a friendship or something. And he was talking about something, and you're like, I'm married. Like, what the hell? It's turning some relationship shit.
Right. Right. Something. The Weinbergers were of a modest income and required the financial aid of several relatives to pay the ransom. And Independence Day, let freedom ring, a federal holiday in the United States.
Oh, shit.
Area banks were closed. So the police had to arrange for a bank
Damn,
to
their
open.
fireworks night got messed up.
Right. And to release money specifically for a Weinberger case.
Okay, good.
Oh, shit. So they did do that.
Well, their money, though.
Right.
Detectives subsequently attached recording devices to the Weinbergers' phones. Meanwhile, police requested that the local press refrain from reporting on the story for 24 hours to reduce the risk. Damn well, maybe they were good back then, but that shit wasn't happening now. There'd be breaking news, TMZ.
Right.
Ransom in progress, and they're all standing out they're standing out in the corner where the ransom's supposed to get paid, and they're just like, we're sitting here waiting for the ransomer.
The guy that comes picks up, he's like, is there any cops around? Like, nah, man, you're good.
All right. He's like, in the camera. Nevertheless, the New York Daily News reported on the kidnapping that same evening and drew copious amounts of attention to them.
Yeah, so stupid. These guys are dumb.
Next morning, a swarm of reporters and I didn't even read that yet. Next morning, a swarm of reporters and photographers had descended upon the drop-off point.
Stupid.
Oh no, they just did what I just said.
Oh my god.
Likely deterring the kidnapper from returning to retrieve them. Likely? What the fuck you mean likely? Of course it was.
Obviously. Oh my. July 6th, investigators staged a news conference to appeal to the kidnapper to feed the baby a supposedly medically recommended baby formula, which theoretically required pharmacy preparation. He's like, dude, that kid needs to eat
it's got like extra vitamins or something in it, right?
In reality, pharmacists could not fill out the formula, and detectives used it as a ruse to attract the kidnapper to a pharmacy. He ain't going to no damn pharmacy.
Well, maybe, though.
And they're hoping he would go there where a pharmacist would hopefully recognize the situation and alert the police. The kidnapper did not appear, and no pharmacist reported hearing from the kidnapper.
Why would a pharmacist have to do it when his dad's a pharmacy
guy?
Well, I guess he doesn't know that, but... July 10th, the kidnapper called the Weinberger household. Morris picked up the phone. He claimed that the kidnapper had a male voice and instructed him to leave the ransom by a nearby highway, to which all the reporters followed. Although Morris left the ransom, I don't know if they did, the kidnapper did not retrieve it.
What?
Later that same day, the kidnapper called again, and Betty Weinberger answered. The kidnapper arranged a second meeting in another location, at which point detectives who had recorded the phone call staked out near the location of the second meeting. Kidnapper was not there, but he left a blue bag containing a note in which he repeated his demand for $2,000. You would have got it. The note contained the same handwriting as the first one.
Yeah, but there's cops and all that shit everywhere.
Well, wait. If they were staking out the second location, how do you manage to leave the bag with the note in it?
He probably did that first.
Maybe. And then called.
Right. Well, the FBI's here. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
They waited a week.
As required, they were just chewing their fingernails off like, hopefully it's a week.
They're like, man.
I don't know if we can wait.
All right, boys. 10 seconds.
Right. Let's go, everybody.
All right.
Yeah. Whose life can we ruin today?
Right. Handwriting experts analyzed the two ransom notes.
Who's got the planted evidence?
Right.
Anybody's got the fake evidence?
And noticed distinguishing characteristics in the writing. Okay. Meanwhile, the Weinbergers were subjected to numerous hoaxes, with unrelated parties attempting to extort the money from them.
Wow.
Resulting in 5 people unrelated to the kidnapping being arrested. That's a crime right there, bud.
Of course.
One hoaxer caller lured Betty Weinberger to a movie theater and used the opportunity to steal her purse.
Oh, jeez.
Nice.
Opportunistic people, huh?
I mean, I guess, right?
August 22nd, 1956, 6 weeks after the kidnapping. 6 weeks? And after the FBI had analyzed over 2 million public records in an attempt to find a handwriting match, federal probation officer in Brooklyn found a document in his files with handwriting that matched the unique writing style of the ransom note's author.
Oh, man.
The defendant in that case was then 31-year-old Angelo LaMarca, who had just been convicted of bootlegging. Oh, it's going to come back to haunt you, buddy.
Oh, shit.
And had just completed his term of probation. After FBI handwriting experts concluded that LaMarca had written the ransom notes, Nassau County Police planned the arrest in a way that was intended to avoid harm to Peter Weinberger if he were still alive.
Weinberger. Next day, August 23rd, police swarmed the homes of LaMarca and all of his close relatives.
Well, that's not a way to make sure the baby's not harmed.
Police arrested LaMarca at his own house as he returned from dropping off his own 2 children at his own parents' house.
Wow.
At first, during questioning...
Well, yeah, what the hell did he do with the kid?
Right. At first, during questioning, LaMarca denied knowing anything about the kidnapping. He's like, no. You police? No. You tell me. When confronted with the evidence of his handwriting matching the ransom notes, LaMarca attempted to blame the kidnapping on an unknown third party, stating that he had written those notes in jest that his friends must have taken them from a trash can to frame him for the kidnapping.
Yeah, because we all just sit around and with our buddies and write ransom notes to people and shit.
You guys want to read something funny? Check this shit out.
I dare you to write a ransom note. All right.
Yes.
After changing his story several times, LaMarca wrote a 12-page typewritten and signed confession. LaMarca admitted to having kidnapped Peter at random after driving by and watching his mother place him in a carriage on the patio.
That's weird.
He confessed that on July 5th, approximately 24 hours after the kidnapping, he had been scared by press coverage and subsequently abandoned Peter alive in a wooded area by Northern State Parkway.
Oh, man.
When asked for a motive, LaMarca said he was $1,800 in debt after buying a refrigerator and storm windows for his house, and that he was behind on his car payments.
Wow.
So the next logical thing is to kidnap a child.
And kill it.
Pretty much. Why leave it in a wooded area? Back in those days, they were like leaving kids at the fire department or something, right?
Right. After writing his confession...
Something tells me he didn't leave him in a wooded area.
Right.
Alive, anyways.
Right. After writing his confession, LaMarca was arraigned on charges of kidnapping. Afterwards, he attempted to implicate a man named Joe Parisi, as his accomplice in the kidnapping. After Parisi was arrested and brought into custody, LaMarca recanted his statement. He was like, no, I don't think so. Claiming that he only implicated Parisi to make life difficult for him.
He didn't like this Parisi guy, huh?
Damn, he then named a man named Shorty as his accomplice. Yeah, like, no, it was Shoddy. Detectives were unable to find anyone matching LaMarca's description. No Shoddy. There's no Shoddy.
No Shoddy here. With LaMarca's help, investigators searched the parkway near the exit where LaMarca claimed to have left Peter. Morning of August 24th, officials located Peter Weinberger's decomposed body. The cause of death was determined to have been a combination of asphyxia, starvation, and exposure. Nassau County's medical examiner later testified during LaMarca's trial that Peter may have lived for about a week before dying.
Damn.
Holy shit. How is that possible?
All right.
Nobody hurt? No, I guess it's a wooded area of highway.
Damn, that's terrible.
No animals either?
Something had happened. August 29, 1956. LaMarca was indicted on charges of kidnapping and first-degree murder. A week later, on the 5th of September, he pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity.
Hey, our second case of the day, after you'll see from this next one coming up, too.
September 21st, he motioned that the trial be moved out of Nassau County due to the pre-trial publicity that the case had received in the local press.
I hate when they do that stupid shit. This is so popular, I don't think we'll get a fair trial. But don't do the fucking crime, man.
Right. But on the 1st of October, the motion was denied.
Good.
The trial ultimately took place in Nassau County.
Good.
LaMarca's trial began on the 5th of November, 1956. In an unusual twist, Nassau County District Attorney Frank Galata decided to prosecute the case himself.
Oh, he said, I'm taking hold of this one, baby.
Jury selection occurred during the first 6 days of the trial, wherein 230 jurors were questioned. 44 were excused due to lack of time. 6 were excused due to personal illness. 13 were excused because of their ideas and understanding on legal insanity.
Yeah, some of them were like, no, it shouldn't happen.
Right. 20
maybe, hopefully.
Right. 20 were excused due to their acquaintance with people involved in the case.
Jeez, what?
And 15 were excused for unspecified reasons. And he's like, no.
Yeah, those were the ones who were like, that baby deserved to die. Yeah. The jury was set November 14th, 1956. The jury consisted of 12 men, all of whom were fathers, and 2 of whom were grandfathers who got the sentimental issues.
Hey.
LaMarca's defense at his trial was that he was driven to temporary insanity due to his mounting debts and that he was otherwise a normal, hardworking husband and father of 2. His argument was that he was in an unbalanced state of mind when he formed the plan to kidnap Peter. LaMarca testified in his own defense, not good, admitted during his testimony that he alone kidnapped Weinberger and in fact did not have any accomplices. Reporters who witnessed LaMarca's testimony remarked that he sounded often hazy and uncertain and gave confusing responses to some of his defense attorney's questions under direct examination.
Oh, okay.
He's your attorney, dude.
Right.
You guys didn't go over these questions?
Huh. LaMarca's wife, Donna, testified that she noticed a shift in his behavior after he purchased a $15,000 house at which he was arrested. The house that he was arrested on. Of course. Where else would he?
$15,000 in 1956, that would probably be what? 80,000 nowadays?
Maybe. She also testified that the couple had been experiencing financial troubles for some time before the crime, and that pressure unbalanced LaMarca.
Oh, we got the...
she was like, he was just so stressed. There was a lot going on.
He was just trying to provide for me and his children.
He took on too much.
Why? It's just...
Just going to handle the burden. He's a good man.
You don't know him like we do.
The defense's final...
He never harmed any one of our children. Ever.
The defense's final witness was psychiatrist Dr. Thomas S. Cusack, who testified that LaMarca was insane both during the kidnapping and when he later abandoned Weinberger. Insane? Okay.
In the membrane, huh?
In all, LaMarca, his wife Donna, and Dr. Cusack were the only witnesses for the defense.
Oh, yeah, what else? Who else is going to have?
Right.
Well, under cross-examination, Dr. Cusack conceded that LaMarca took precautions to avoid detection by using a paperclip to prevent leaving fingerprints on a ransom note. Hey, and that these precautions did not mean LaMarca was sane during the commission of the crime. But he knew what he was doing.
All right.
The prosecution called another psychiatrist, Dr. Hernani D'Angelo, to rebut Dr. Cusack's testimony and LaMarca's contention of insanity. Dr. D'Angelo testified that he was sane and aware of his actions, stating, I base my opinion that the defendant knew right from wrong on the fact that the act itself was so planned, so executed, and so covered up to escape detection that only a person who knew what he was doing every second and every inch of the way could have accomplished this fact. Right. I mean, come on.
Wow. Well, the trial concluded in early December, with the jury reaching the verdict on the 7th. After deliberating for 6 hours and 24 minutes.
Way too long.
LaMarca was found guilty of felony first-degree murder and kidnapping. New York, at the first time a first-degree murder conviction carried a mandatory death sentence.
Mandatory.
However, because LaMarca had been convicted of felony first-degree murder instead of premeditated first-degree murder, the jury had the option of sparing his life by recommending mercy.
Mercy still means life, I'm assuming.
LaMarca's lawyers pleaded with the jury to let him live since he had young children of his own. I don't mean anything.
What are they going to do? Are they going to see you? Prosecution replied, what mercy has shown baby Peter when he was left in that woods?
Right.
What mercy did he show then?
Right.
Ultimately, LaMarca's jury did not recommend mercy, meaning he would be sentenced to death.
Oh, shit.
Upon hearing the verdict, LaMarca's wife and mother, who were in the gallery witnessing the trial, reportedly fainted. 1 week later, December 14, 1956, LaMarca was formally sentenced to death.
Dang.
With Nassau County Judge Mario Petoni scheduling his execution to take place in the week of January 28, 1957.
They didn't mess around.
Man. You gotta get these freeloaders off of here. Look, it was only a month.
Right. Holy crap.
Damn. Well, of course, you got appeals, though, so...
Due to filing appeals, the execution of LaMarca's death sentence was postponed for 18 months.
That's more like it, even though it's still not 10 years like it is for a lot of...
Right. The duration of LaMarca's stay in the Sing Sing death house was one... Sing Sing.
Why do they name it Sing Sing?
I don't know. Maybe that's what people do. They just Sing Sing.
Sing Sing, that's in like... it's in...
Sing Sing.
California, though, ain't it?
It's in Song Song,
No,
California.
it's in New York, obviously.
New York City.
Formula Asening. Why do they call it Sing Sing, though? The name Sing Sing was derived from the Sin Tink Native American tribe from whom the land was purchased, formerly the name of the village.
Sing Sing? Nice.
Sing Sing, yeah. Death house.
Sing Sing. The duration of LaMarca's stay was in the Sing Sing death house. As well as 1 year, 7 months, and 24 days, approximately twice the duration of an average inmate condemned to death in the state at the time.
Wow. Twice?
Damn.
Yeah, because they were getting executed 2 months later.
Quick. It's ridiculous. In his final appeal before his execution, LaMarca argued that the jurors in his case were prejudiced against him.
Oh, come on.
He also argued that the rejection of his motion to change venues resulted in an unfair trial. In rejecting his appeal, the U.S. Courts of Appeals for Second Circuit pointed out that the size of the jury pool in LaMarca's trial was unusually large. At the time that it took to conduct jury examination showed the care that the county officials put in ensuring that LaMarca would have a fair trial.
It's true.
Can't deny that.
And I think they knew that, too, because they're like, this guy's already pointing out it's going to be an unfair trial. We got to thoroughly vet everybody and get,
Right. And
there was no women on the jurors, though. That's crazy.
They did it on purpose.
It's weird. Yeah, but why would women probably would have more...
emotional to the baby.
Right.
Well, the U.S. Court of Appeals judge also said there was no evidence to support the claim that LaMarca had not received a fair trial in Nassau County.
Yep. August 6, 1958, one of LaMarca's attorneys, Nancy Carley, attempted to obtain a writ of habeas corpus to stay her client's execution, which was scheduled to take place the next day.
Ooh, damn.
Got a little late now, Carly. Carly argued that Judge Mario Petoni had refused to answer a question from the jury and had thus denied LaMarca for a fair trial. You can't refuse it. Oh, what do you mean? Yeah, you can't refuse a question from the jury, can you?
You got to answer all questions.
Oh, during a 30-minute hearing, the circuit court ruled the argument was invalid.
I mean, it's not. What was the question?
The question that the juror asked. Right.
What was that?
Well, afterwards, Carly stated that no other legal action in the case was likely and that LaMarca's only chance of survival was if New York...
was, Judge, what's for lunch?
Right. LaMarca's only chance of survival supposedly is if New York Governor W. Averill Harriman agreed to grant executive clemency.
Why would he do that?
LaMarca's wife, Donna, also appealed to Governor Harriman by radio.
Hope he wasn't listening to radio.
Right.
LaMarca's second attorney, David Markowitz, stated that the intention behind making the radio appeal was to try to contradict the feeling of antagonism that has been aroused against Angelo LaMarca. Maybe enough people will be moved to send telegrams to the governor asking him to save this man's life. Why? I don't think anybody would.
Do you see the shit that goes on today?
Right. Governor Harry Mann's office received 400, 500 telegrams from people opposed to LaMarca's execution.
That's not enough. Sorry, 400 to 500 out of hundreds of thousands.
Right. He's like, I can't do anything. Till the end of LaMarca's life, Donna insisted that he was insane, stating to a reporter that after making her radio appeal,
imagine defending your husband. He's crazy.
Right. I just can't believe my husband will die. How can they send an insane man to the chair? No man who is a father can let another child die unless he was crazy.
Or a piece of shit. How about that? There's also that. Can you plead a piece of shit?
It's weird. Have we ever had one of these people that did this that had children? I don't think so.
I don't think so. As far as I know, the Lindbergh baby kidnapper didn't have kids. And the other one we just didn't have kids.
The dude that went to San Ysidro, McDonald's.
He had kids.
No.
Yes, he did.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because remember he used to abuse his daughter?
Oh, yeah.
And then when he left, he kissed his daughter on the forehead and said, I'll never see you again or some shit like that.
That's right. So there's one.
But he beat them anyway, so that he was like a piece of shit anyway.
Right. So you're telling me he was, wow.
From all accounts, this dude's a good dad and a good father or a husband. So
maybe he had a nervous breakdown where he was sold so much and he went to extremes.
Not entertaining that at all. Angelo LaMarca was executed at 11 p.m.
Nice.
Damn, why so late? I guess he got to live another day, right? But he didn't. He was executed at 11 p.m. August 7th, 1958 at Sing Sing. He was pronounced dead 3 minutes later. What was his execution? Injection?
Injection or electric chair.
3 minutes later, electric chair? That's hell of a fucking fry, huh?
He wanted fried chicken.
His last meal had consisted of fried chicken, French fried potatoes, so French fries, vegetables, ice cream, and coffee.
Oh, shit.
Why would you not splurge on something? They're going to get you whatever you want.
I know, right?
Fried chicken must have been like a new thing in the 50s or something, because who the fuck would ask for fried chicken as your last meal?
Definitely would not ask for fried chicken.
Prison officials stated that he repeatedly shouted, "Maybe they'll save me yet," in the hours leading up to his execution. I don't think so, buddy. Shortly before his execution, LaMarca said his final goodbye to his children. "They got along fine," Donna LaMarca said. "He told them to do well in school and to take care of me. The girl is too young to understand, but the boy, he knows what's happening."
Wait, the kids were there?
I don't think they watched him, but they probably got to say goodbye.
Wow. At his execution, a silent but visibly frightened LaMarca was accompanied by a Catholic chaplain. He was not observed to have said anything in the death chamber except quiet muttered responses to the chaplain's prayers, and one comment to a guard placing a strap over his eyes and face. "What are you trying to do? Choke me?"
I don't think it matters.
Right. Otherwise, he made no final statement. There were 35 witnesses to his execution, one of whom was Edward Curran. Curran later recalled, "I didn't particularly want to be there, but Betty Weinberger and Frank Galata asked me to go, so I felt I had to."
Prior to the Weinberger case, the laws concerning federal intervention in kidnapping cases had been shaped by the Lindbergh kidnapping by Richard Haltman, who, like LaMarca, was executed after being convicted of the kidnapping and murder of a baby.
Oh, jeez.
Haltman's case had inspired the Federal Kidnapping Act, which, after amendments made in 1934, decreed that if a kidnapping victim was still missing after 7 days, the FBI were allowed to presume that the victim had been trafficked across state lines, could therefore intervene as a federal authority.
Right.
As a direct result of Peter Weinberger's kidnapping and murder, the Federal Kidnapping Act was amended in 1956 to allow the FBI to enter a kidnapping investigation after just 24 hours.
Nice.
Later, what would they have done?
All right.
Later in 1998, the Protection of Children from Sexual Predators Act would allow the FBI to become involved in kidnapping investigations prior to 24 hours passing. So, right away.
Right.
This is the PCSPA Act.
Well, Angelo LaMarca's son, Vincent LaMarca, was 11 years old at the time of his father's execution.
Oh, really?
Vincent would later go on to become a police detective.
Good for him.
In an interview after retiring from the police force, Vincent would state, "It was actually tougher being a kid, 9, 10, 11 years old. You're going to school with kids who see your father's name on a front page of papers every day. Let's just say kids can be a little bit cruel."
Your daddy's a murderer.
Right.
Right. Well, at least he did something with his life, though, huh? Vincent also stated that his father's predicament inspired him to become a police officer, stating in another interview, "It tore me apart when he did this horrible thing, but it taught me a lifelong lesson about responsibility, and I became a cop so that no one would ever say a single bad thing about me.
All right.
And so I could restore the family name." Well, good for him. Years later, in 1996, LaMarca's grandson, Joey, was implicated in a murder in Long Beach. After his arrest, Joey claimed that he was genetically predisposed to murder. The case and Vincent's life as a whole inspired the plot of the 2002 film City by the Sea.
Wow. So Vincent's own kid ends up being a freaking...
Oh, maybe it was the daughter's kid.
Right. Wow.
City by the Sea, huh? Who stars in that? Robert De Niro, James Franco, Eliza Dushku. This looks like a movie I might want to watch.
Wow. I'm going to watch that.
Huh. Interesting. And Vincent is played by Robert De Niro. That looks good. Wow. All right. Okay.
All right. Well.
Oh, his son Joey, who he hadn't seen in years, murdered a drug dealer.
Oh, my.
So it was his son. Good for him. All right, that's going to do it for our first of our double feature of child murder, I guess. So
Double feature.
In this episode we got going on here, we'll be back after this short break for the abduction and simultaneous murder, not simultaneous, but the after murder of Marion Parker.
Marion Parker.
Moving on to today's episode where we have another murder, but this time of a child, unfortunately, abducted, murdered, and some pretty sick shit happens in this one. So this guy, and the 20s were messed up, especially with guys like this, which you'll hear coming up. Frances Marion Parker was an American child, obviously abducted and murdered in L.A., one of all places. Her murder was deemed by the L.A. Times as the most horrible crime of the 20s. Wasn't the crime of the century, though. At that time, it was considered the most horrific crime in the history of California. Frances Marion Parker was born October 11, 1915 in L.A. to Geraldine and Perry Marion Parker. She had a twin sister, Marjorie, and one older brother, Perry Jr.
Parker went missing from Mount Vernon Junior High in the Lafayette Square section of L.A. on December 15, 1927. She was excused from class by the registrar, Mary Holt, after a man, presenting himself as an employee of the bank where Perry Parker worked, claimed that Perry had suffered an automobile accident and wished to see his daughter. The man, apparently unaware of Marion's twin sister Marjorie, was given possession of Marion. Holt later claimed that she never would have let Marion go for the apparent sincerity and disarming manner of the man. Parker was reported missing later that day. So he meant to get the other one? He got one?
No, she's saying, he was apparently unaware that she even had a twin sister.
Who cares?
What do you mean?
What does it matter?
Well, clearly a dead giveaway that this idiot shouldn't have let the one girl go with him in the first place. How are you going to let one kid go and not the other? A little red flag there to me.
I suppose.
Next day, December 16th, the first of several ransom letters were delivered via telegram to the Parker home demanding $1,500, which is equivalent to $23,672 in today's money, around there. And he wanted those in $20 gold certificates. All communications by the kidnapper were signed with the names such as Fate, Death, and The Fox. First telegram addressed from Pasadena read, "Do positively nothing till you receive special delivery letter," with what appeared to be Marion's signature on it.
Huh.
Second telegram sent shortly after from Alhambra read, "Marion secure. Use good judgment. Interference with my plans dangerous." What is this guy? What is he? A cave guy? Caveman? This telegram was signed with the name George Fox on it.
Wow. In another of the telegrams, it was indicated that no one will ever see the girl again except the angels in heaven. This letter signed Fate also had the word talk, which is Greek for death, written at the top. Through the telegram correspondence, a meeting location was established in late hours of the 16th of December for Perry Parker to exchange the ransom.
Damn, he did 3 ransom letters in one day?
Damn. Prior to depositing, Perry recorded serial numbers of each of the bills, obviously, so they could be identified when used in future exchanges, allowing authorities to track the kidnapper. I don't know, why would you want a gold certificate, you moron? The first attempt by Perry to deliver the ransom failed when the kidnapper realized that police had followed Perry and were monitoring the anticipated exchange. The kidnapper failed to appear while Perry waited at the location for several hours.
Well, come on, Perry. You can't be having the cops be noticeable.
Right.
That's the whole point. Throughout the next day, December 17th, the Parker home received numerous further telegrams from the kidnapper, first of which scolded Perry over the national press attention that Marion's kidnapping had received already in one day,
Right.
as well as for allowing police to spy upon their planned exchange. In the telegram, the kidnapper indicated that December 17th was the last day before he would kill Marion. An attached letter, written in Marion's handwriting, pleaded for her father to follow the ransom demands without police involvement. After consulting with authorities, Perry was given permission to meet with the kidnapper alone. Permission. I'd be like, fuck you, I don't need you guys anyways, this is my daughter. Without police monitoring, out of fear for his daughter's life. No shit.
Right. 2 further telegrams were sent to the Parker house on the afternoon of the 17th of December. The first signed Fox Fate began, "PM Parker, please recover your senses. I want your money rather than to kill your child." Well, so far you have given me no other alternative. Following telegram signed simply Fate, and this one read, Fox is my name. Very sly, you know. Set no traps. I'll watch for them. Get this straight. Remember that life hangs by a thread. I have a Gillette ready, and I'm able to handle the situation. Damn, he's a sponsor guy for Gillette.
Right. Gillette can slit the throats easily. Right. On the evening of December 17th, Perry received several phone calls at his home from the kidnapper, which established a new meeting for delivering the ransom money, with the agreed location being the corner of West 5th Street and South Manhattan Place in central L.A. 7:15, kidnapper phoned the home, instructing Perry to depart immediately to the aforementioned location, assuring him that he would recognize Perry's car.
Perry arrived at the location alone with the ransom money at approximately 8 p.m. and was confronted by the kidnapper only moments after arriving. The assailant, driving a Chrysler coupe, pulled up next to Perry's vehicle and held him at gunpoint with a sawed-off shotgun. The unknown man had a bandana covering most of his face. During the exchange, Perry was able to see Marion seated in the passenger seat of the car, concealed up to her neck by clothing, but not visibly moving. When he called out to her, she did not respond, though her eyes were visibly open. Perry assumed she had been drugged. As soon as the money was handed over, the assailant put his vehicle in gear, moving forward, and pushed Marion's body out of the car before speeding away.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
Some reports state the assailant commented, "There's your daughter," before throwing the body on the street. Realizing his daughter was deceased, Perry phoned authorities. After her body was recovered from the street, an autopsy was completed on the remains at approximately 9 p.m. The coroner indicated that Marion had been dead for approximately 12 hours.
Oh, shit.
Her arms and legs had been cut off.
Oh, man.
And she had been disemboweled.
What the hell?
Her lower torso stuffed with a towel and a man's shirt.
What the? This guy is fucking insane. Marion's eyes had been held open with piano wires to give the appearance that she was still alive. The following morning, 18th December, a man on a morning walk in Elysian Park found the severed arms and legs of a child, each wrapped in newspaper, lying in disarray on the street. Upon recovering the limbs, police positively identified them as Marion's.
Well, a massive manhunt began for Marion's killer on December 17th. It involved over 20,000 police officers and American Legion volunteers.
Dang.
A award of up to $50,000 was offered for the identification and capture of the killer, dead or alive. This was later raised to $100,000, which was equivalent to $1.5 million in 2021 numbers, after numerous contributions from the public. On December 20th, the getaway car in which Marion's killer had departed was found abandoned, identified as having been stolen in San Diego. Fingerprints were able to be taken from the door of the car, though.
Oh, you idiot. Several suspects were considered at the time, including Earl Smith, the son of a local dentist, Louis H. Wyatt, who was apprehended and interviewed in Las Vegas. That's Nevada, not New Mexico. But they were cleared of suspicion after Mary Holt, the registrar, who had spoken with Marion's abductor, confirmed neither were the same man. Nah, it's not him. Police traced a laundry mark on the towel found stuffed inside Marion's torso to the Bellevue Arms apartment, where they interviewed a number of tenants. December 20th, the fingerprints taken from the abandoned Chrysler were identified as belonging to William Edward Hickman, born February 1st, 1908. What year is this?
26.
26? Mm-hmm. Damn, dude's not even 20 years old. Mm-hmm. A former co-worker of Perry Parker. Both men were employed by the First National Bank of L.A., where Parker worked as an assistant cashier and Hickman as an officer. Dude, an 18-year-old officer.
That year prior, Hickman had been arrested on a complaint made by Perry regarding stolen and forged checks totaling $400.
Dang.
Here's your motive then, huh? Hickman was convicted and sentenced to probation, after which he spent 6 months living with family in Kansas City, Missouri, before returning to L.A.
Why would he go back to L.A.?
Well, it's L.A., man.
Is he trying to be an actor?
Who knows? Additional fingerprints lifted from the ransom letters were able to positively identified as Hickman's.
Oh, jeez.
It subsequently uncovered that Hickman had been a new resident of the Bellevue Arms, having moved into the building recently under the alias Donald Evans.
How? Upon examination of Hickman's apartment, bloody footprints were discovered, evidence of a crime.
No shit.
Additionally, police found partly burnt handwritten drafts of ransom letters regarding Parker, as well as newspaper clippings about the Parker kidnapping. Residents of the Bellevue Arms told police that during their initial combing of the building, Hickman had not been at home and hence had not been encountered by law enforcement.
What do you think?
Additionally, a janitor in the building reported that he had witnessed Hickman carrying several packages to a car on the night of 16th December and observed him wiping down the seats of the car the following day.
Identifying Hickman as the prime suspect in Marion Parker's murder, law enforcement traced his path north. He was sighted by a gas station attendant in Albany, Oregon on the morning of December 20th, 1927, driving a green Hudson car. Later determined to have been stolen in L.A. At the Albany gas station, Hickman purchased $10 of gas.
Oh, wow.
Dude, that's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
According to the station attendant, Hickman was dressed in a dark blue suit and wore Oxford shoes.
Dang.
Attendant reported the sighting to the police the next day after reading a newspaper article indicating he was the most likely driving a green Hudson vehicle.
Oh.
Police were subsequently able to track him to Seattle, where he used 2 of the $20 gold certificates given to him. As part of the ransom, he purchased clothes from a haberdashery on the evening of December 21st.
This guy's a moron. How do you not? You worked at a bank. No. Around 6:30 a.m., 22nd of December, Fred King, a gas station owner in Portland, spotted Hickman at his service station, where he was, again, purchasing gasoline. Why else would he be? I mean, I guess there's a lot of stuff at a gas station.
Right.
King immediately reported the sighting to the police, indicating that Hickman had driven away from the service station east in the direction of Columbia River Gorge. A Bolton, well, you want to go see the gorge?
Maybe.
A bulletin was posted following King's report, and officers were stationed on all roads leading east of Portland. Hickman later admitted that, before departing Portland, he disposed of his California license plates, replacing them with 2 Washington license plates he had stolen from a car in Olympia the day before. Okay. With 2 of them, you had...
Yeah, man, front and back.
Yeah.
Approximately 1:30 p.m., December 22nd, Chief of Police Tom Gurdane and Traffic Officer Buck Llewellyn arrested Hickman in Echo, Oregon after a frantic car chase.
No shit. The
officers had recognized him from wanted posters. No, so they didn't even get the call. In the Green Hudson, the officers discovered $1,400 of the gold ransom given to him from Perry. At the time of his arrest, he proclaimed some fiend killed her. I don't know who he is, before stating, "I did it because I wanted the money to pay my way through college."
Oh, yeah. You really did that.
He turned real quick, huh? Didn't even have to get taken downtown.
That's a hell of a courthouse and jail.
Yeah. Well, that's what they all look like in the 20s.
While detained at the Umatilla County Jail in Pendleton, Oregon, Hickman confessed to helping participate in Parker's kidnapping, but implicated 2 men, brothers Oliver and Frank Kramer, as accomplices who carried out the moida.
Ooh, we don't like these guys.
Hickman relayed an extensive story to a journalist from the East Oregonian, in which he claimed to have participated in a kidnapping ransom plot with the Kramers. Hickman claimed to have spent time with Marion Parker, even having taken her to see Figures Don't Lie at the Rialto Theater.
Weird. He took responsibility for the telegrams and phone.
She was how old?
12.
And he's taking her to a theater by herself? I doubt that.
Right. He took responsibility for the telegrams and phone calls, but claimed that it was the Kramers who had actually carried out Parker's murder. Police, however, determined this to be impossible, as the Kramer brothers had been incarcerated for several months on other charges.
Did he not know this?
Obviously not.
Jeez.
It was subsequently determined that Hickman knew the Kramer brothers through one of their girlfriends with whom Hickman was acquainted. Aware that both of the men had criminal histories, police surmised Hickman attempted to implicate them on the basis. But the authorities assured the public that they were satisfied that neither the Kramer men nor their girlfriends were aware of or involved in Parker's abduction or murder.
Look at that shit. Additionally, Hickman at first denied having committed the murder in his apartment in the Bellevue Arms, despite the discovery of blood evidence there. Captain Bright of the Pendleton Police Department commented, Hickman said the Parker girl was not killed in the Bellevue Arms apartment house. We know that she was killed there. If his statement is wrong in that, it is discredited in other details. Hickman was extradited to L.A., where he confessed to another unrelated murder, which he had committed during a drugstore holdup. He also confessed to having committed a number of other armed robberies.
Oh, jeez. Who's this other murder? They didn't
right.
have nothing on that. In subsequent correspondence, authorities were able to coax further details about Parker's murder, which Hickman disclosed via written confession after realizing his claims regarding the Kramer brothers had been disproven. In his apartment at the Bellevue Arms, Hickman admitted to having strangled Parker, whom he had blindfolded and tied to a chair until she was unconscious. He proceeded to hang Parker's body upside down in his bathtub, slicing her throat at the jugular vein to drain the body of blood.
Jeez, what the hell?
After disarticulating her arms and legs, he proceeded to disembowel her, during which he stated the body jerked with such force that it flew out of the tub. Oh, jeez. Suggesting that she might still have been alive during the dismemberment.
No, it was his nerves.
Right.
Hickman subsequently wrapped Parker's limbs in newspaper before temporarily storing her torso in a suitcase. Oh, my goodness. He then left the apartment to see a film at the Lowe's State Theater, but claimed he was unable to focus on the future and wept throughout. Later that night, realizing that Parker's father might want to physically see his daughter before paying the ransom, Hickman attempted to reconstruct and disguise Marion's body to make it appear that she was alive. Why would he even kill her?
He's like laying there in his bed and he's like, shit.
Don't make no sense why he killed her.
Who knows?
Leading him to adorn her with makeup and sew her eyes open with wire. Reflecting on the entire ordeal, Hickman told police she felt perfectly safe, and the tragedy was so sudden and unexpected that I'm sure she'll never actually suffered from the whole affair, except for a little sobbing which she couldn't keep back for her father and mother. When she was holding upside down and she wasn't in tragedy.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Well, he choked her unconscious.
All right.
And then held her. Hickman told his attorneys that he had killed Parker upon the direction of a supernatural deity he called Providence. This claim was touted by Hickman's defense attorney in court, who attempted to explain Hickman's action of reason of insanity. The defense professed that Hickman was mentally ill and deeply influenced by his religious zealot father, Zealot, who had exposed him to frenzied religious exorcisms. Grandfather out of the limbo of the subconscious mind, surcharged with severe repressions of his awful childhood, homicide, and mutilation ideated.
Oh, jeez. This guy's a freaking fruitcake.
Well, that's what they're trying to say.
Right. Hickman was one of the first defendants to use California's new law that allowed pleas of not guilty by reason of insanity, despite having initially told police that he needed the $1,500 ransom to attend Park College, a Bible college in Kansas City. Oh, jeez. Evidence contradicting... See, these people, they just ruined the Christian name. Man.
Right.
Evidence contradicting his insanity defense included testimony from prison guards at the Umatilla County Jail in Oregon, who stated that Hickman had asked them how he could act crazy during his incarceration. I don't know. That's hearsay. Dr. W.D. McCary, a Pendleton psychologist who examined Hickman at the Umatilla County Jail, observed that his mind seemed clear and that he told a straight, coherent story and was never at loss for words. That don't mean anything. There was nothing about him to indicate insanity. He said he does not like girls, that he is deeply religious, and that his ambition was to become a minister. Several times he mentioned God.
Prosecutors speculated that Hickman wanted revenge against Parker for having testified against him in his earlier trial for theft and forgery. There's evidence that Hickman committed the murder in part for the notoriety it would bring him, as he divulged to one reporter that he wanted as much press coverage and was received by the high-profile killers Leopold and Loeb.
No, he wasn't.
Which we did an episode on. Go look that up if you want.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of this guy. Well, Hickman, yeah. Earl Hickman, I guess.
You're thinking of Whitman, maybe. Charles.
Walt Whitman. February 1928, jury rejected insanity defense and judge sentenced Hickman to death by hanging. Yep, that's too easy. He appealed his conviction, but it was upheld by the California Supreme Court. During his final months, Hickman reportedly embraced Roman Catholicism and wrote letters of apology to his victims' families. October 19, 1928, he was hanged on the gallows in San Quentin prison. Upon falling through the trap doors of the gallows, Hickman struck his head and hung, violently twitching and jerking.
Jeez.
Per witnesses, it took approximately 2 minutes for Hickman to die. An autopsy performed after his execution showed that Hickman's neck did not break during hanging and that he died from asphyxia.
Good.
Right, but still too easy.
I guess. In 1928, the writer Ayn Rand began planning a novel called...
Dude, is that like the fastest execution ever? It was within a year. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's not ridiculous, but usually it takes 20 years. They did that shit quick.
February to October.
Damn.
That's how long he was in jail for. 1928, the writer Ayn Rand began planning a novel called Little Street, whose protagonist, Danny Renahan, was to be based on what Hickman suggested to her. The novel was never finished, but Rand wrote notes for it, which were published after her death in the book Journals of Ayn Rand. In these notes, Rand writes that the public fascination with Hickman is not due to the heinousness of his crimes, but to his defiant attitude and his refusal to accept conventional morals. No. She describes him as a brilliant, unusual, exceptional boy.
Oh, he's just and
speculates about the society that turned him to a purposeless monster.
Okay.
Shut up. Rand wanted the protagonist of her novel to be a Hickman with a purpose and without degeneracy. It is more exact to say that the model is not Hickman, but what Hickman suggested to me. Oh, shut up.
This bitch. Kind of like that Chris Watt lady.
Oh, what?
Rand scholars David Harriman, who edited the book in which the notes were published, Chris Matthews Sciarbara, and Jennifer Burns all interpret Rand's interest in Hickman as a sign of her early admiration toward the ideas of Friedrich Nietzsche. Who's that guy?
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche.
Remember we had him in one of the other episodes.
Right, especially since she several times referred to Danny, the character which Hickman suggested to her, as a Superman in the Nietzschean sense. Look at that. This bitch is fucking crazy.
In the years following the crime, Parker's murder was subject to various folk murder ballads, many of which alternatively spelled her name Marion with an A except for an O. One of the earliest recorded ballads inspired by the Parker murder was Little Marion Parker, which was recorded by Vernon Dalhart and Carson Robinson, released in 1928 by Columbia Records.
Okay.
The same year, Andrew Jenkins, under the pseudonym Blind Andy, released the ballad Little Marion Parker, as a single on OK Records.
Oh, man.
With the B-side, The Fate of Edward Hickman.
Oh, jeez.
Another ballad inspired by the crime, The Marion Parker Murder, was recorded and released in 1939, performed by John McGee. And finally, the Reverend J.M. Gates also composed a Negro spiritual inspired by the Parker case titled California Kidnapping, in which he compared her abduction and murder to his family's past as slaves.
Oh, jeez, come on.
All right, that's going to do it for us in this episode of the double feature that we just had going on here, the murder of Marion Parker, which you just heard, and the abduction, and I guess it's still murder, and kid left him. The murder of Peter Weinberger by Vincent LaMarca over on that one. And double feature. Hope you guys like that, because if you guys want more double features of little crimes, because a lot of times there's not a...
Right.
These things aren't long enough to do just one episode on, so we can do more double features that are like along the same... premise, I guess you could say. Right. If you guys want that, email bangdangpodcast@gmail.com, and don't forget to go to manscaped.com and enter our code TrueCrime for 20% off plus free shipping on anything you order over there on manscaped.com.
Shave those balls with the Manscaped razor.
Right, and then you go check out Battles of the American Civil War and This Week in Sports History on the Bang Dang Network, wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll be back next week for...
something.
You know what's coming up?
Phil Collins.
Waco's coming up pretty soon in February, I want to say. So we got Waco. That's probably going to be a two-parter, but we got some more murders. Definitely more murders coming up next week. Not sure what it'll be, but it'll be something. Maybe we'll do the assassination of William McKinley. That's an oft-talked-about thing right there, right? Nobody talks about the assassination of William McKinley.
Yeah, you youngins today don't even know who McKinley is.
Right. Well, we'll show you next week, because we're the Monthly Michiganders with
Bang Dang.